was lacking in quality. The game between Manchester United and Arsenal, even Scott McTominay's brilliant goal was not able to offset that. Welcome to the Nutmeg on Guardian TV. My name is Solomon Fowe, and Dennis returns to us in the studio, although I'm sure he's not so upbeat after that disappointing game yesterday.
Yeah, the match did not come out as expected, and then, that has been the whole story of Arsenal and Manchester United all season long. Wobble and fumble, the expectation of their fans, and then we got it again yesterday, and what do we say again is just to move on and expect better things for the season.
Yeah, quick one to delve into that match. There's a sentiment, especially after that game, that it seems Unai Emery, although I don't really agree with that because every manager really wants to win, but the sense is that Unai Emery doesn't do enough to win. It just does. He does just enough not to lose the game.
For me, it's not even like he does a bit or he does enough trying to win. For me, it's just basically he's not been doing anything to win. That's what I think, because how do you go into a match
but now, when you're looking at that, you see that Manchester United, Arsenal actually fought on the log.
See, Arsenal fought on the log. That does not really reflect what their performances have been. Take the match against Aston Villa as an example. If they had gone ahead to lose the match, would they be there? And I do not even praise Arsenal for that victory either way. I only blame that victory on the lackadaisical attitude on the part of Aston Villa players. But for the match against Manchester United, I saw the lineup and then I kept wondering how you go into such a match, how you go against a seemingly dilapidated Manchester United side right now. This is your chance to win in Old Trafford after the likes of Thierry Henry did that in 2006. And then you go in there, your midfield, there was nobody to do the offensive play. You're playing 3 defensive midfielders in the midfield to connect with the attack. Come on, who does that? It doesn't just make sense. And then I think just like Arsenal have always been over the years, it was just another show of what we've seen. That anytime Manchester United seems down, seems dead and buried, they meet Arsenal and then Arsenal seem to be their Easter, and then suddenly Manchester United resurrects. And just like you said, Scott McTominay's goal, exceptional, and then you also applaud Vieira for the Aubameyang's goal. And if that had not been given, maybe Manchester United could have even gone ahead to win the game.
Now, talking about Manchester United, you're seeing a side that they've had the worst start in 30 years.
Yeah.
And you see this side consistently disappoint, in the sense that they've won just one game after that first game against Chelsea. What do you think Solskjaer should be doing going forward, seeing that it seems the positivity that he has infused into this side is already waning off, or it has waned off already?
What he should be doing is, try to find a way to motivate his player. Motivation is the best, is what all managers try to do to get their players, up to speed with whatever they want them to do on pitch, especially on match days. And if you did watch the match against Arsenal closely, you'll see that sincerely Manchester United sort of, found a way to put in a shift, to ensure that Arsenal did not come to the Old Trafford.
At least with the quality of players that they have.
Yeah, because I looked at the starting line, especially the front 3. It was Rashford up front. It was Daniel James, and then Pereira. It was more or less like 3 players that you wouldn't even expect in a normal Arsenal-Manchester United match. Although you could say it is a show of decline in the quality of, how do I call it now, one of the best fixtures that everybody looks forward to every season in the Premier League. But that aside, I think Manchester United did enough to get that draw. And if this team continues like this, I think they will start showing the same attitude which we saw making them win against Chelsea.
You know, that game was a far cry from what we've seen in, let's say, 2 decades ago or some part of last
Yeah.
decade. But away from that, we hope that the Champions League games that we're going to be previewing is going to be offering some form of therapeutic effect on us to make us forget how terrible or how bad that game was. So going into the Champions League, we have the game between Tottenham and we have Bayern Munich. And also the one we're going to be talking about a whole lot more is Barcelona against Inter Milan. Inter Milan are in imperious form. They've not lost
Yeah.
in the Serie A this season, and it seems Antonio Conte has brought in a sort of freshness into that side, and they've hit the ground running really fast. Should Barcelona be scared of Inter Milan at this time?
They have everything to be scared about because, Inter Milan, just like you rightly pointed, they're on a 100% record for the season, and Barcelona seems to be, lagging behind in what we used to know them to be. Look at the La Liga table. It doesn't seem like it's a Barcelona season, do you understand? And then in the same way, they're coming into the Champions League against a side that has, been playing really well, scoring the goals, and then picking up the necessary points. I think they have everything to fear about, but you certainly have not so much to fear about when you have the backing of the Lion himself, talking about Messi. And you know that Inter Milan also will be wary of the Barcelona attack, talking about Messi, Suarez, and if they choose to go with Griezmann. And do not forget, Barcelona are always equipped, and being a very big side in Europe, you expect them to, show surprises, bring up performances that you did not even see them coming up with. You can only hope on the side of Inter Milan that they come in with their A game. But if they do not, Barcelona might be sneaking this away.
Do you think we're giving Inter Milan too much props in this, seeing that their first game in the Champions League was against Slavia Prague, where one in Nigeria and in Peter Olayinka brought about a surprise where it was 1-0 before Inter fought back. Seeing that they drew that first game, don't you think we're giving them too much props, heading into this game against Barcelona?
I think it has been more of, cutting them some slacks, knowing that, this team is, it consists a new set of players that Antonio Conte has tried to bring together. Don't forget that the regular Inter Milan side, you used to have the likes of Mario Icardi, and then Conte got in and said, you know what, you're not in my plan. I have other
there's a
plans.
new sheriff in town.
And then he's trying to put the whole team together, which a lot of people are still applauding that. He's made so many great decisions for the team. But in the Champions League, they drew the first game. I think it's not yet time for us to start calling the teams bluff, especially in Europe. But, let's just wait and see the sort of performance that they show against Barcelona.
Yeah, talking about Conte, one thread we've seen in his career is the fact that he knows how to get a team up and running in record time. We saw it at Juventus, we saw it at Chelsea, and I was seeing the same thing at Inter Milan. But there's always been a sort of caveat when it comes to Antonio Conte, especially in the Champions League. It seems he doesn't just know how to crack the Champions League, but with the quality in his side, with the people that he has around him, and probably with refreshed motivation, do you think he's going to be cracking the Champions League this season?
No, that would be a tall order. You talk about the Champions League, you're talking about, maybe with the exception of the World Cup, you're talking about, the pinnacle of football in Europe. And then if you're talking about any team winning the Champions League, I don't think Inter Milan, stakes a claim in that yet. And instead, I'll still maybe sticking with Italy. I think Juventus, stake the claim the most, comparing them to Inter Milan. And on the larger picture, you can't take it off Barcelona and also Bayern Munich.
So Bayern Munich faces Tottenham, and Tottenham, they were the finalists that was last season. Do you see them replicating anything close to that, seeing that they are having some form of mini crisis, especially in the Premier League this season?
It will be difficult. It will be difficult because, even before the draws were made for the Champions League this season, after the loss of the Champions League final last season to Liverpool, Jan Vertonghen was speaking with UEFA, and then part of his lamentation was that he does not know how long or how soon more will Tottenham find themselves in the position they found themselves last season. and coupled with the fact that, they've started this season with crisis here and there, team has not been
Yeah, Christian
consistent.
Eriksen.
And then if Pochettino will still be staying with the team, because
Actually staying right
we
now.
hear rumors flying here and there, Real Madrid making some contacts, and then he himself not feeling secured. He's got some issues with Daniel Levy. So with all of that creeping in, I don't see Tottenham replicating last season's form.
Oh, thank you so much for speaking with us today, Dennis.
Always a pleasure.
Hopefully we'll get enough quality in the Champions League that makes us forget that game between Manchester United and Arsenal. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. There's amazing content there for you from Guardian Nigeria. Thank you so much for watching. I am Solomon Fowe, and this has been The Nutmeg.